Today we're going to make this super adorable bumblebee. So I'm going to tell you all the supplies that you're going to need, and they all come from your kit. You're going to need the yellow yarn, black, and a little bit of white, an embroidery needle, a stitch marker, safety eyes, just 2 of them, and I'm going to use a 4.5mm crochet hook, also from the kit. And of course, to stuff it on the inside, you're going to use some of that polyester fiber fill from your kit. This is going to be a super fun and easy bumblebee, and I'm sure you're going to enjoy making it. Okay, so the very first thing that we're gonna do is make a magic ring. So row 1 is a magic ring, which is super easy to make. You just cross your yarn in the front. So the back looks like this. The front is like this. So you're just crossing it. And then we're gonna get this part under and twist it at the same time. Then we get that working yarn and pull it under this loop, and you have a magic ring. So in this magic ring, for the very first row, we're going to work 6 single crochets. So it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. Now you pull this end tail, because this is the working tail and this is the end tail. You're going to pull this end tail closed and the ring closes up. So the next row, which is row 2, is going to be 2 single crochets in each of the 6 stitches that we just made. So at the end of that row, we're going to have 12 stitches. So increasing is just 2 single crochets in that same stitch. So you're going in the same one twice. There's 2 in that one. So the next stitch we're gonna go once and then twice, and the same thing in the rest of the 4. Once and then twice, 1 single crochet, 2 single crochet, 1 single crochet, 2, and then one last time on that 6th stitch you're going to do 2. So this is just row 2. That's all you have to do, and we're going to count. There should be 12 stitches. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Because each of these V shapes, like that, each of those are a stitch. So I'm gonna go ahead, at this point we're gonna start using a stitch marker. So I'm gonna pull my tail a little bit. This is the working yarn, of course. And I'm gonna put the stitch marker through that last single crochet that we did. And just like that, it's gonna hold our place. So now we're on row 3. Row 3 is gonna continue increasing this circle to make it bigger. So we're gonna do 1 single crochet, 1 increase, 1 single crochet, 1 increase. So you're gonna increase 6 times on this row. So at the end, we're gonna have 18 stitches. So 1 single crochet, then increase, 1 single crochet, and increase. And that increase is just making 2 single crochets in the same stitch. 1 single crochet, increase, 1 single crochet, increase, 1 single crochet, increase, and the very last one, we're going to end where that stitch marker was holding my place, so increase in that last stitch. And that was row 3. So row 4 is very similar, but it's going to be 2 single crochet, increase. So at the end of row 4, we're going to have 24 stitches. So single crochet, and then increase. And then repeat that again. And we're going to continue 2 single crochet, increase, 2 single crochet, increase, all along the rest of the row. And on these last 3 stitches, it's going to be again 1 single crochet, the second single crochet, and then an increase to finish. Okay, that was row 4, so you should have 24 stitches all along the ring now. So we're putting in our stitch marker and we're going to start row 5. Row 5 is going to be 3 single crochets, increase. And I'll do the first couple with you. So it's 1 single crochet, 2 single crochet, 3 single crochet, and then increase. 1 single crochet, 2 single crochet, 3 single crochet, and then increase by going 2 stitches into that same stitch, 2 single crochets into that same stitch. So you're going to continue that all along until you get to that stitch marker. So we have the last 4 stitches right here. So we're going to do 1 single crochet, 2 single crochet, 3 single crochet, and then increase in that last stitch. So 1 single crochet, another single crochet, the third single crochet, and then increase in that last stitch where the stitch marker was. Okay, so you have 30 stitches all around now. The 6th row is going to be just single crocheting around each of those 30 stitches. So we're going to put our stitch marker so we don't lose our place. and we're going to single crochet once on each of those 30 stitches. So I'm going to take off the stitch marker and single crochet until that stitch where the stitch marker was. Perfect. So I finished the row and I have 30 stitches across. So now we're going to change colors onto the black so the bee will have stripes. So I'm going to pull my yarn just a bit like I did there and put my yellow off to the side. Now I'm going to pull the black yarn. So I'm going to pull a bit of this yarn out so we can work with it comfortably. And we're going to do a color change. So the way to change colors of yarn is to just, like you're going to do a single crochet, you put your hook through the 2 loops of the yarn, pull that yellow yarn, and instead of going over with this yellow, we're going to grab that black yarn and put it up, just laying it right on top of the hook and pulling it under those 2. So now instead of working with the yellow yarn, you're going to be working with the black. So row 7 is going to be single crocheting all around, all 30 stitches, just like we did with the last row of yellow, but we're going to do it with black. So row 7 is 30 single crochets around. So now we're on row 8. Row 8 is going to be the same as row 7. We're just going to go around. So 30 single crochets in black. So we're going to put our stitch marker. And single crochet around 30 times. So I'm going to remove the stitch marker, and we have 1, 2, 3 more stitches until we get to that stitch marker. So I'm going to do 1, 2, and 3. So that was the end of row 8. For row 9, we're going to do 30 single crochets again, but this time we're going to do it in yellow. And notice how I have both loops in black, but I have not completed the single crochet in black because we're going to change colors to yellow. So I'm going to show you guys again how we do that. So just like if I were to make a single crochet, I grab this yarn and pull it through. And I have the yellow yarn still attached. Instead of grabbing the black yarn and pulling it through to make a single crochet, I'm going to grab this yellow yarn and pull it through instead. So pulling it under both of those black loops, and now the working yarn that I have is yellow. So 30 single crochets all around. On this round, you don't need to put a stitch marker just because it is a little obvious where your round is going to start and where it ends. So it's starting with the yellow and it ends with the black. So as soon as you go back on the black, that is the end of your round. But on the next round, we will definitely be using that stitch marker again. So we're just doing single crochets all around for 30 stitches. Okay, so this is the end of row 9. For row 10, we're going to put that stitch marker on the last single crochet that we did. And we're going to go again 30 single crochets all around. So we're not increasing, we're just single crocheting all around. And we're going to continue doing that for 2 more rows of brown, 2 more rows of yellow, 2 more rows of brown. But I'll help you as we go along. So right now we're just doing those 30 single crochets all around. Okay, so I have 2 more single crochets until I get to that stitch marker. So I'm going to remove it and single crochet twice. Before I finish that single crochet, I'm actually going to change the color to black because our next row is going to be in black. So row 11 is going to be the same. We're just single crocheting all around 30 times in black. So that is the end of row 11. Row 12, we're going to do the same thing, single crocheting around 30 times. I'm just going to put in that stitch marker. And now we're going to single crochet all around. So now we're going to do row 13. 13 is going to be back to yellow because we're doing 2 rows of black, 2 rows of yellow, 2 rows of black. So we're going to do our 2 rows of yellow. So I'm going to take this and go back a stitch because we're going to change colors to yellow. I'm going to put that there, and actually I'm going to use the stitch marker this time. So now we're just going to do those 30 single crochets again. So we're going to do that for row 13 and 14. Okay, so I got to the end of row 13. Row 14 is going to be the same thing, like I said, 30 single crochet all around. I'm counting, I have 4 more stitches to get to that stitch marker. So I'll just take it off and go those 4 stitches. Okay, so that is the end of row 14. Row 15 and 16 are going to be the last 2 rows in black. So we're going to change color to black. Move this yellow yarn to the side. So remember, changing color to black is just as easy as doing a single crochet, but you're pulling the new color under both of those loops instead of the yellow. So I'm pulling the black instead of the yellow. So 2 rows of single crocheting 30 is going to be for row 15 and 16. So you'll have, again, 30 single crochets by the end of those rows. So I got to the end of row 15. I'm going to do row 16 and doing the same thing, single crocheting around for 30 rows. I'm sorry, for 30 stitches. So I'm just going to put in that stitch marker. Okay, so this is the last stitch of row 16. So I'm actually gonna just color change on that last stitch. Okay, so we're gonna change our color to yellow. And now for row 17, we're gonna start to decrease around. So we're gonna start to close up our B. So row 17 is gonna be 3 single crocheting around, decrease, 3 single crochet, decrease. So that's how it's going to be throughout the whole row. And I'm not going to put a stitch marker this time, just because the end of the row is going to be our last stitch in black. So we're going to do 1 single crochet, 2, 3, and then we're going to decrease by pulling the yarn through the first stitch. And then instead of going around and pulling it through like making a single crochet, we're going to pull our yarn through the next stitch. So I have 3 loops on my hook. I'm going to pull this new yarn through all 3. So before, where I had 3 single crochet and then there were 2 stitches here, that decreased to 1. So where there were 5 stitches, now there are 4 in yellow. 1, 2, 3, and 4. So we're going to do that again. 1 single crochet, 2 single crochet, 3 single crochet, and decrease. Pull the yarn through the first stitch, pull it through the second stitch, and we're going to pull this yarn through all 3 loops, just like that. And you're going to continue that all the way around. Okay, so I have the last 2 stitches for that row, so I'm going to decrease them. Okay, we just finished row 17 and we should have 24 stitches all around. So before finishing closing the bee up, what we're gonna do is add the safety eyes, and of course we're gonna stuff it. So we have to cut off this black yarn because we're done using that. So what I like to do is flip this inside out, and I'm gonna make a knot on the inside of the bee, so you won't be able to see it from the outside, but I'm just gonna knot where that black yarn was so that it won't unravel. And I'm gonna knot both sides of that black yarn. And if you would like, you could knot up where you did your magic ring as well. But that's totally optional. So flip it back, and we're gonna put our safety eyes in. So this part is really fun, and of course you could put them wherever you want. I'm gonna play around with it for a little bit and see where I like my eyes the best. Okay, I put mine in between rows 4, 3, and 4. So that's where I put this eye, and then this eye is kind of in between row 2 and 3. But I think I like that for the eyes. So we're going to put on the backings. There we go. And now we're gonna make a little smile on it. So I like to do this before stuffing because it's easier to, if you want to just make a knot on the back of the bee, inside the bee. But you can totally do this if it's easier for you. You can do this once you have already stuffed it. But I'm gonna grab some embroidery thread. Just cut a little piece. You don't need too much. We're just gonna make a little smile. And we're gonna need this needle. So you make a knot. And I like to make a couple knots to make it nice and big. I actually like to make a few knots. There we go. Okay, so we're going to put our thread through the needle, and we're just going to make a cute smile for the bee. So I have the needle going on in the inside of the bee, and we're going to pull it through, and then push it back in. Okay, so we have one line, but to make it more of a smile, I'm going to push the needle through a little bit under. I'm going to grab this, so go under it with the needle. And in that same area where I came out, I'm going to try to go back in and pull the needle from the inside. And there we go. We have a smile. So again, the reason I like to do it before it's stuffed is because then it's easy to make a knot on the inside of the bee. So I'm just tying a knot right now for the smile of the bee. Okay, so we have the details of the bee all done. We have the smile and the safety eyes placed where we like them. The next thing that we're going to do before closing this is add stuffing. So I have my stuffing right here, my polyester fiber fill. So I'm going to open this up with some scissors. And just like that, it expands. I'm going to move these off to the side since I'm not going to need them for a little bit. Okay, so you won't be needing the black thread anymore, but you will be needing this needle in just a bit. So I like to play with the stuffing for a little bit before actually placing it inside of the 𝗬𝗓𝗡𝗖𝗓. I like to kind of fluff it up a little bit. So we're going to start stuffing. Okay, that's good for right now, but I'm still going to leave this stuffing here, the fiber fill, because we still need to close up. And as you close your bee, you can always add more stuffing in. So row 18, I'm going to put in my stitch marker. Row 18 is going to be 2 single crochet, decrease. 2 single crochet, decrease. By the end of row 18, you're actually going to have 18 stitches left. So we're going to do 1 single crochet, 2 single crochet, and decrease. Okay, we're going to do that 5 more times all around. 1 single crochet, 2 single crochet, and decrease. Okay, so I have 4 stitches left in the row. So 1 single crochet, 2 single crochet, and decrease. That is the end of row 18. Row 19, so I'm going to put in my stitch marker. Row 19 is going to be single crochet, decrease, single crochet, decrease, and we're going to repeat that all around 6 times. At the end of row 19, you're going to have 12 stitches. Single crochet, decrease, single crochet, decrease, single crochet, decrease. And as you're closing up, you can always stop and put some more fiber fill into the bead. Okay, so I stopped to stuff it a little bit more, but I'm going to keep on crocheting. 1 single crochet, decrease, 1 single crochet, decrease, and then on the final 3 stitches, one single crochet, decrease. So row 19 is all done. Row 20, we're going to decrease all around. So this is the last chance. If you do want to add any more polyester, any more fiber fill to this, now is the time because we're about to close this up. Okay, for row 20, we're going to decrease all around. So at the end of row 20, you're going to have 6 stitches. So this is 1 decrease, 2, 3, 4. So I'm going to go ahead and take this off. I know I have 2 decreases left. 5, and 6. Okay, and now we're going to slip stitch in this last stitch, which is the same as a single crochet, except instead of yarning over and pulling this through, you're going to pull this stitch through. So I'll do that one more time. You put the hook under, you grab the new yarn and then pull it through. And you're going to pull a little bit of that. Grab your scissors and cut the yarn. You do want to leave a bit of a tail because we're going to use that to sew up your bee closed. Okay, it's looking super cute so far, but we do want to take care of this end tail. So you're going to grab your embroidery needle, your yarn needle, and just put the yarn through. To close it up, I like to go through the front stitch of all 6 of these. So this would be grabbing both loops. I'm just going to grab this front loop. So again, this is both, but we're just going to grab one. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. And we did 6 because we finished this with 6 stitches in the last row. So we're going to pull that tight. And then we're going to make a little knot to hide this tail. So I'm going to just make a little knot. Okay, and then we're going to pull it through the amigurumi. So just put your yarn needle through and pull it out. And we're hiding that knot inside so that it won't come undone. So now we're going to cut this off. And if any stuffing comes out, you can just poke it back in using either side of the needle. There we go. So your bee is almost done, but it's missing a couple really important things. So next we're going to make those wings. So grabbing your white yarn, the wings are super easy and they're going to bring that bee to life. So the wings are each 2 rows and we're going to start by making that magic ring again. But this time in the magic ring, instead of making 6 single crochets, we're going to do 7. So 1, and we're working into that ring, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7. We're going to pull this end tail tight, nice and tight, and now we have 7 stitches. Inside of each of those stitches we're going to do 2 single crochets. So at the end of row 2 you're going to have 14 stitches all around. So remember, 2 single crochets is the same as increasing. So 2 in there, 2 in the second stitch, 2 in the third, 2 single crochets in the fourth, 2 single crochets in the 5th stitch, in the 6th and the 7th. Now we're going to slip stitch because that's it. The wing is only 2 rows. So we're going to pull the yarn through and then under that loop. And you're going to cut a good long tail because you're going to need that tail to sew the wing onto the bee. Pull that yarn through. I'm going to put this wing off to the side. We're going to make a second one. That second wing is going to be the same. You're going to do your magic ring, 7 single crochets into the magic ring. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7. So now we're going to pull this tail tight and make 2 single crochets in each of those 7 stitches because we're going to increase. So at the end of row 2, you're going to have 14 stitches. So 1 and a second single crochet to make it an increase. Increase in the second stitch. Increase in the third stitch. In the fourth. Fifth. Increase in the sixth stitch. And the 7th. Okay, so we're going to slip stitch just like that, pulling a long tail and cutting it off. Okay, so I have both wings right here ready for our bee, and the bee that's ready for its wings. So the wings are really easy to sew on. Pull your yarn through your needle, kind of place your wings on your bee and see where you want it. I'm going to use some of these pins to help keep the wings in place. These are completely optional. You don't need them to sew anything on, but it just helps a little bit to keep the pieces in place. So I'm just going to put 2 on each wing and make sure that I like where they are. Now comes the fun part. We're just going to sew these wings on. Okay, once you find where you want your wing to be, you're going to do the same thing that you did when you closed the bottom of the bee. You're going to pull the yarn through somewhere, anywhere really, on the bee, make a knot, and then we're going to pull it through on a different direction. But I'm going to do that with this little tail of the bee too. So I'm going to pull this tail and I'm going to make sure I take it out at the same spot that this long tail is coming out of. Okay, so I have both of the wing tails here. I'm going to tie a knot. I'm just cutting one of them a little shorter to make it easier. So I'm going to pull this knot through the bee again and out the back. There we go. The knot disappeared and your wing is sewn into place. So then we're going to cut this. There we go. And we're going to do that one more time for the second wing. So again, I'm going to tie a knot. I'm going to cut this little tail just a little bit shorter and pull the yarn tail through the bee because we want to hide that knot inside the bee. There we go, and cut that. Okay, so there we have our super adorable bee. Super fun to make, really easy, and it's just so cute. So I hope you enjoyed making the bee. Remember, you can make this in really any color you wish. Of course, yellow and black are super adorable, but you can make them in any color.